If you have a type A personality and you think you should be able to figure everything out on your own, and if you don't, then you're weak and you suck and you're a failure, this podcast today is going to be for you. Because in this episode, myself and co-host Sophie are going to be talking about why accountability is probably the thing that you, I, Sophie, and everybody else in the world is missing and is the glue that is going to keep you tied to your goals forever. How was that, Soph?
That was great. That was awesome.
That was great.
Good job.
Cool.
Good job.
Thanks, dude.
That's
Dude, I have
all.
a question for you to start the pod.
Okay. Tell me.
If you had to lay out your ideal day in a life, I'm not talking
Yeah.
like if you didn't work ever. I'm not talking if you were just like on a beach somewhere doing nothing, or like, but like if you could wake up tomorrow, snap your fingers, and were like, this is what I would want my day to look like from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, what would that be?
That's such a great question. Okay, so I would want to get a sunrise walk every single day. So I would start off my day with a solid morning routine. Something like a walk with a water view. I would like maybe hit the sauna or like something kind of like that. Then I would want to do some work. And then maybe at around 12 p.m. I would go to the gym. Then I would come back, do some more work. And then I would have some sort of like night routine, like something to chill, either reading a book or do some sort of mindfulness activity. Like I really like a water view, so I would want to sit in a balcony with the water view and do something fun with Bruno. Okay,
Those are,
what
I'll tell you, I'll tell you my answer that I
like I
think
feel
I
like you can
have.
live you can do you're a business owner. You can like schedule your life however you want, no?
Yes and no, right?
Yes or
Like my
no?
it I own the business, but I work for
Yeah.
our employees and our
For
customers. So
sure.
like that's
But you
I work
could go
for
to the
them.
gym whenever though. Like you could schedule it. For me, it's a little bit harder. So I'm supposed to be like available at like all these hours.
Mm,
But yeah,
mm,
what's your
mm.
answer though?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you my answer, but before I do, so what you just described,
Mm-hmm.
would you say that you are actively working towards fulfilling that and making that a reality? And not just like, yeah, this would be nice, but like, no, I'm actually taking steps to make that a reality every day of my life.
Yes and no. I feel like I could be more intentional about daily things that could get me there. But I think it's not something I've ever like I feel in my head that it's going to happen. Like, it doesn't feel like a far off fetch dream. Like, it feels like it
Hmm.
will happen. It's just but I also know, like, at some point, more needs to be done to get there. There's also some things that I could, in theory, already be doing. Like, I could be having a sunrise walk every single day, for example. Like,
Hmm.
that's not completely impossible. Like, I already have a water view, but, like, I guess, like, I would want it to be more, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, okay. Where are you going with this?
Interesting. Where I'm going with this is I just don't think many people actually have ever thought that. And then even if
Right,
they have thought that, they've thought about it in a way of like, well, that's never going to happen. Like, that's not
right.
realistic. I'm not ever going to be able to do that. And so I asked the question to you because I was curious, but I was thinking
Yeah.
about this for myself as I enter this,
Mhm.
next stage of my life. I guess I turned 30 and now I'm more philosophical. But I'm thinking about of like, what do I actually want that to be? And so yeah, I figured I'd ask you and see what your answer was.
Yeah.
So, but I
Well,
don't
it's
think people
funny
think
'cause
about it.
no, well, it's funny you asked that, and I almost feel like I need to now go revisit that because I'm giving you an answer now that but I don't know, truly, I don't know that I have thought about it much. There's certain things that I want, right? Like the kind of like house that I would want or the kind of lifestyle that I think I would want. But I don't know that I would like I gave you an answer, but I almost feel like I have to think about it. So maybe this could be great homework for all of us to just actually really think about what do we want? Because I feel like we're all so limited in our own day to day that we don't really think of like what is possible or beyond like our day to day. That great way to start the thought.
I also think people might have an idea, but then it's like really getting granular and really getting specific about
Right.
what is this? Like what is it and how am I going to make it happen? And not
Exactly.
if, when and why
Yeah.
and how and what and like so I
Right.
just think people I think a lot of people don't take it's funny, I think people spend more time figuring out what they're going to do on the July 4th weekend than like planning what they want the rest of their life to look like, or at
Yeah.
least what they would want their life to look like, which is like the
Yeah.
best life they can live. They're more worried about like, what am I doing this weekend? And it's like, bro, you
Yeah.
haven't thought about like you haven't thought about your life. Why who the fuck cares about the weekend? Like, what are we doing? Like we
Right.
want to be building a life that you love and appreciate and you don't quote
Mhm.
unquote need a vacation from. That was always my thing, was like I wanted to try to build a life that I didn't need a vacation from. And like I like traveling, I like going to different people. Like that's different, but like yeah, I don't think a lot of people think about that. So yeah, I thought that was
You like to
interesting.
take vacations because you just kinda wanna go somewhere fun and, like, it's for you in your case, it's not like you hate working and you dread work and it's like you're looking to escape. It's not like that. I feel like for you, it's truly just a break, which is it's
Mhm.
not the same as I think what for someone that hates their job and that really truly does need some sort of escape from their life. So I think, yeah, it's different. But what's your answer, though?
Yeah, so I was gonna say my answer would probably be I would wake up between like 5 and 6, and I
Okay.
would do 4 to 6 hours of deep work. Like
Okay.
I can't tell you how much like I truly do love waking up early, getting like 4 to 6 hours of just solid fucking work done,
Yeah.
like deep work, whatever the thing I'm working on is. And then I would, I would probably work until 12, 1, 2, somewhere around there. I would go get a workout in, and then probably from there, if I wanted to do extra work, I would. But if not, I might just like hang out with people or go to the beach or like meet people for dinner or like those sort of things. So that's probably what I would say, is something along those lines of a good chunk of work in the morning, be super productive, get a lot of shit done, get a good lift in, and then if I wanted to fuck off the rest of the day, I could fuck off the rest of the day. Or if I wanted to do some work, I would do some work. And so
Okay.
that's probably mine.
I like that. Well, the beach access you'll be able to have, but do you feel like you are taking steps to get there?
Mhm. I would say yes. I would say yes. Especially if all of this comes to fruition. I always there's a saying, you make plans and God laughs, and so I don't know, but
Right.
if all this comes to fruition and towards the November timeframe, then yeah, I do believe I would be taking steps closer to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think for you, it'll probably be like if you are wanting to have more time to do more fun things or non-work related things, you would just need to be able to delegate more probably of the things that you do
Yeah,
now.
but dude, like even like you text me like, hey, can we brainstorm? We have
Yeah,
brainstorm days. Like
bro. I
to
was just telling Marcel the other day, bro, like, can we work together? I've been working from home for 6 years.
I know, dude. Well,
Bro.
so, but even stuff like that, dude, like that would be technically work, but like that would be
Right.
so fun to me. Like that would
Right.
be
That's
so
fun.
fun to me.
Yeah.
So,
And
so even stuff like that, man. Like I would love to like. I don't have. I mean, I have friends right now who are like in business and stuff, but like they're all over the world, right? So like I don't get to meet them and see them in person and do these sort of things, and I don't like around me. I don't have like friends who are like owning a business, running a business,
yeah,
trying to do the things that I'm trying to do, and so yeah, like I think those would be probably the couple of main differences, and so we'll see how that
that's
fleshes
fun.
out.
Yeah.
But I
And I
thought
think that's
I
where
think
like
it's a good exercise for people to listen, for people to
nope.
try.
I agree. You know what? I'm gonna think about that and I'm gonna give myself that homework. See.
I love that.
Um, I love it. Great way to start the podcast.
There you go.
Cool, cool. Well, is there anything else you wanted to share? Should we get started?
Rock and roll.
Okay, cool. So, as you said in the beginning of the podcast, we're going to be talking about accountability today. So, question number one: how often do you see people who already tried to do this alone for 6 months, a year, longer? What do you feel like that face looks like usually? And for
So I
reference,
think
we're obviously talking about fitness
well,
journey.
so yeah, but I
Well,
was gonna
actually,
say, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
yeah.
dude. Like I was gonna say really anything that
Mm,
people are trying to work towards a specific goal. We'll use fitness as the example, but like this really applies to any goal that you have. So you're trying to work towards a goal, and you're trying to do it on your own. And maybe you're trying to do it on your own because you're like me. And like growing up, I didn't come from money. I had to start working at 16 to buy my own groceries, to pay for my gas, to pay for my phone bill. So I consider myself very independent. And so asking quote unquote for help or needing quote unquote accountability to do something is very foreign and outside of what I feel aligns with my identity. Remember a previous podcast I talked about people always act towards their identities. And so if you have the identity of I can do this on my own, I'm independent, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm this, I'm that, your actions are always going to try to align to that. And if you take actions outside of what aligns with that, it feels bad. It feels wrong. It feels like not something you're supposed to do. Side note, this is also why people who are overweight sometimes self-sabotage themselves when they try to take the actions of a healthy person because they still think their identity is the unhealthy person. So I think where this comes from is people struggle and have a negative connotation with even the word accountability. Like when somebody hears like hold me accountable, they automatically associate that connotation with a negative one. They think it means I'm weak, I can't do it on my own, I'm not good enough, I suck, I'm a failure if I need somebody else's help. And so I think the first thing we should do here is reframe the connotation around accountability into something that is more so a vehicle. And what's really coming to my head is like a weapon that is going to allow you to push past specific plateaus and or sticking points and allow you to get to the next goal, the next tier, the next level that you want to get to. And this goes for anything. This could be fitness, this could be work related, this could be business related, this could be financial related. Like when you have accountability, I was speaking on our Q&A in the clubhouse earlier, which I think will be a podcast too, probably next week. And I was talking about one of our clients, Vicky, was feeling overwhelmed. And I said, Vicky, most people think overwhelmed. Like, so if I told you, hey, I'm overwhelmed, would you think that's like, I'm feeling really good or I'm feeling not so good?
Not so good.
Right. But why?
Right.
We associate
Yeah, that's
overwhelm with a negative thing. But like I was explaining to her, if you're overwhelmed, that means you're probably doing something outside of your comfort zone. You're doing something different. There's some sort of change that's happening, right? And of course, like there's many reasons why you might feel overwhelmed, but if that is the case, but then that would mean you're doing something different outside of your comfort zone, which means you're going to get a different result, which is why we're here in the first place. So overwhelm is actually a good thing. Accountability, wanting and needing accountability, if that means you're going to push past your current sticking point and plateau of where you're at to get you to the next level, wouldn't that mean accountability is actually a good thing, is actually a positive thing, is actually a weapon and a stepping stone you can use to get your long-term goal? And I would argue a lot of people think it's weak to get accountability. I think it's weak to let your ego stop you from getting to your long-term goal, because that's what it is. You wouldn't get accountability or think you wouldn't need it because you think you can do it on your own. That is the definition of ego. So I think it's weak to let your ego stop you from getting to your ultimate long-term goal.
Yeah, I feel like also for some people that face looks like think some people are not necessarily ready to take that on, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. And getting accountability feels like something that will lead to embarrassment or failure because they don't really feel like they don't really actually want to have someone check in. And that's not even necessarily always an ego problem or a money problem. It's also like, oh, I'm not even ready for that type of commitment to want accountability. Like, and I know we've
Mhm.
talked about it on the pod, or I specifically remember asking you this the first time I came on the podcast of when do people actually make a change when they've had enough, or I can't remember exactly what you said, but almost like that moment of that breaking point where you no longer, you know, can't take it on anymore. Almost like you need to reach that sometimes, if that is the case, that you are almost like resistant because of what comes with accountability.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you made a great point that I was just writing down so I didn't
Thanks.
forget. But I think that was an awesome point. And I think there's two things I want to say to that. Number one, if you get accountability with something, you automatically make it real.
Mhm.
A lot of people know they need to get their health in check. They need to stop spending so much fucking money. They need to get the hell up earlier and be more productive. A lot of people know these things, but it's in the back of their head, and they try to keep it in the back of their head because it's going to be hard and difficult and uncomfortable and challenging and overwhelming to face it. So if you get accountability, it forces you to bring it to the forefront. It forces you to make it real, which is also why people see results from getting accountability, because you put it to the forefront, you make it real. So that's the first part. And the second part I'll add to this, which is you said they were afraid to make a commitment, right? What if I was to tell you they're making a commitment either way?
Yeah.
You're just making a commitment to stay the same and avoid it,
Right.
or you're making a commitment to change, adjust, go through the period of overwhelm and improve it. But don't, this is also why when I say people put it to the back of their head, like they think they can trick themselves into like not making a commitment or I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
You're already making a commitment. Like you're already making a decision and you're already making a commitment. It's just what are you deciding and what are you committing to? But you're not going to run and get out of making the commitment. And again, nobody thinks about it like that because they don't want to look in the mirror. They don't want to turn the selfie camera on and say, I am choosing to stay the same. I am choosing to not do this. I am choosing to stay stuck. I am choosing to not get help. I am choosing to they don't want to say that. So they just try to put it to the back of their head. But either
Yeah.
way, you're making that commitment.
And that is an important call out because that really does think for someone. Like it doesn't feel good to hear that. Like, but by not making a decision, you are making a decision. Just kind of like I think people don't realize that. So kind of when you call it out, it's just uncomfortable to hear that, to realize, oh shit. It
They,
is like avoidance of
they,
it.
yeah, that's the thing. Like you're not, most people know, again, they just try to push it to the back of their head and we are our best negotiators. And so we will always try to make ourselves feel better, talk ourselves out of something, tell ourselves, oh, it's this, it's that. And that's why I say it's not a commitment, it's a honesty issue. It's a being honest with yourself about what is actually going on. But again, once you do that, people who listen to this podcast, they have heard hundreds, if not thousands of, well, not thousands yet, but hundreds of clients come on the podcast
Thousands
so
of
far.
times.
Yeah, yeah. Hundreds of clients come on the podcast and talk about like when I got honest with myself, that's when I changed. And so
Right.
that's the thing.
What do you think is the number one reason someone's own program, meaning they do it themselves, right? Usually falls apart. Is it the workouts? Is it the food? Or is it something entirely different?
It's not It's not the workouts, it's not the food. It is purely, we talked about this in a previous episode. There's no consequences and there's no external accountability. There's nothing holding people to actually do the things they know they need to do. Like, guys, we're in 2026. Like, this is not I don't know what to do. You know to eat in a calorie deficit. You know to eat more protein. You know to get protein at breakfast. You know to lift weights. You know to take walks. You're not doing it. And why are we not doing it? Well, there's reasons why you're not doing it. But also, and this kind of is a different conversation, but a lot of people, instead of trying to find the real reason why they're not doing something, they'll just call themselves lazy or they'll say they have no discipline or willpower because like that's so easy. Like you don't have to do any work. All you have to say is like, "Oh, I just lazy. Well, I don't have any time. Well, I just can't do this. Well, I just can't stay consistent." It's just the easiest way as opposed to being like, "Okay, I didn't hit my calories today. Why didn't I hit my calories today? Let me look at breakfast. Well, I guess I only ate 12 grams of protein at breakfast and I skipped lunch. And so I was starving by the time I came home. And then when I came home, I was just ravenous and I just kept overeating. I couldn't get full. So that led into overeating at dinner. And then by that time, I already fucked up everything and ruined all my progress. And so I just went into a pint of ice cream. And then so that means tomorrow I'm going to have to do X, Y, Z to fit. Like, that's just a lot harder than being like, well, I'm lazy or I suck or I have no discipline. Then it's like give themselves a cop out and move on with the rest of their day. They don't have to do any other work mentally to it. So a lot of people's plans fall apart by themselves because number one, they don't do that. Like they just don't. And number two, there's no external reason to stay on track. And I always say people don't have a motivation problem. Nobody wants to be fat. Nobody wants to be overweight. Nobody wants to be unhealthy. Nobody wants to not feel confident in themselves. Nobody wants that. Like, you're motivated. It's just you don't have that external accountability and reasoning to keep doing the things that you know you should be doing. And then some people will sit there and think, well, if I don't have it within me, then I'm not going to be able to get it, or I shouldn't do it, or I'm not going to stay consistent. I would also challenge people, go back and listen to, I'm thinking of our client Nirja, the podcast that we did with her. She said explicitly on that podcast, she was like, I don't think that was the right word, by the way, explicitly. Maybe it was, I'm not sure. But she said, I had to show up for Coach Jamie first, and then eventually I learned how to show up for myself. And so I think it's just an important note that, like, sometimes you need something else to get you to show up, which then leads you to learn how to show up for yourself as well.
Episode 933, by the way, I just looked it up.
It was a really good episode.
Yeah, yeah, shout out Nirija. Dude, and I think obviously I think the root of the issue is the accountability. I also think the problem is adaptability. So I think, quote unquote, the program could be perfect, right? If you prompt AI the way that you want it to be prompt, whatever. The program in itself could be the perfect program. The problem is what happens on a Friday when you unexpectedly need to go out, or on a Sunday when you miss work because whatever reason, or your child is not able to go to daycare, whatever day. So like when the unexpected happens, how can you be adaptable in those scenarios, which in turn would be solved by having accountability. But I think that that's a big one, in the sense that people, I think, make plans on a perfect scenario, like where everything is going well, and like assuming everything is, perfect. And I know we've talked about this on the podcast, but also people don't know what they don't know. So if you don't know that, hey, you're supposed to be maybe getting form checks on your workouts, if you don't know that you even need to think about that, that's kind of a risk too. When you don't have accountability, that could go wrong. Like, well, you could get injured if you don't know that you're supposed to look at your squat form or your RDL form or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, again, I think it's a great point. One of our new clients, his name is Sumant. He just signed up this past Sunday, and he said, when he signed up, he said, I know the success I'm not having is in the work I'm not doing. And
Oh,
he said, I don't know what I don't know, man. He's like, I just need some help. Like, I just
cool.
need some help. I need some guidance. I need some accountability. Again, like Sumant was saying, he was like, sometimes I'll eat a whole fucking pint of ice cream at night sometimes. He's like, I know I shouldn't do that, but he's like, there's what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. But then he's like, I know if I got to track it and then report that to my coach and
Right.
then answer to the fact of why the fuck did you eat a whole pint of ice cream, right? And again, we're not going to be like, you're an idiot. What the fuck are you doing? But it's like, there's going to be a conversation of, hey, you ate a fucking pint of ice cream. What happened here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, there's just a little bit extra. That's the bottom line. So,
Mhm.
yeah. And then to your point, when people are like, of course you can do it when you're motivated and things are perfect and you have the perfect routine. Anybody can do that, right? It's what happens when you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, you are traveling, you're coming back from traveling, you have a really busy work week coming up. Maybe it's summer, your kids are home, it's really difficult right now. You're going out to some parties, you want to be social, but you don't want to ruin your progress. All of these real life things are what throw people off track. And having the accountability and the coaching mixed together, those are the things that help people stay consistent long enough to actually build the habits necessary to not just make the progress, but then keep the progress long term.
Or even I'm thinking about myself, even before I started working with my first coach. I actually started, and I know I talked about this on the podcast the first time I came on, but for the first 5 months, I was doing everything on my own. I had kind of discover the world of social media and workout and nutrition. So I like started learning about 10,000 steps or calorie deficit. I started learning about everything. And I did really well the first couple of months, but kind of like, especially me with my ADHD brain, I feel like I get really excited when things are new and in the beginning, but eventually that motivation wears off. And eventually I hit a point where I no longer really understood what else can I do because I'm already in a deficit. I'm already doing all these things and it's not working. So kind of I feel like for me I hit a point where I no longer knew how to problem solve, if that makes sense. And that initial motivation that I think a lot of people, because I think a lot of people do try to start on their own, and then eventually they get to a point where they no longer know what to do, and so that's where they either decide to just, okay, I'm just gonna give up on this, or I'm gonna get some help. So I
Mhm.
think also when that motivation wears off.
Yeah, and I also think Instagram and social media and the internet is a great place to learn from, but there are people out here who like think they know everything they need to know about workouts or nutrition. And I'm like, you do know, like, this is what I've studied for 10 years. And you watch a couple of reels and you think you know as much as I know. And I'm not saying it in a mean way, but like that would be like me stepping into somebody's profession and be like, oh yeah, I saw you're an accountant. Yeah, yeah, I saw like 4 videos. Like I know the P&L and you do this and the Excel spreadsheet and the QuickBooks. Like, yeah, of course I can do that. And it's like, okay, go do it. It's like they fucking fail. I would fail. I don't know. And so there's a different level of knowledge and also experience. I'm a big believer of like paying in money to then save time. So if
Right.
somebody is farther along and has more experience than I do, if I say, I pay for their education, I pay for their experience, I can then shrink the time how long it's going to take me to get there. And we only have but so much time on this earth. And so I'm a big believer of time is the most valuable asset, much more valuable than money or cars or houses or anything, because you get more time, you can do more things in that time. So you also can't replicate experience. You can go through your own experience, but I've coached for the past 10 years between in person and online. All of our coaches, all of my app, everything. We've coached over 25,000 people. I just don't know if the person listening to this is ever going to have, they're not. Like, you're not ever going to have that level of experience unless you live my life and do what I've done. But you can do that if you want to, or you would just pay in money for the experience that I have. And then you would shrink your time to see the results that we have produced for everybody else.
So for people that are doing their journey on their own and they refuse to get help, what do you think is the biggest risk that they face?
Perfect segue. Time. You're just wasting time. You could spend more time figuring it out on your own. And who knows? Maybe you will. And here's the thing. Maybe you will figure it out on your own. You want to figure it out on your own so bad, maybe you will. Just might take you 5 years. Versus if you, let's say, sign up for coaching. There's a link in the description of the podcast. You can do so. And again, by the way, this is not just about fitness. So, like, if you have other things in mind and you're listening to this podcast with, you're just going to wait. It's costing you time. Again, you either pay in money or you pay in time. Those are the only two options. So you just have to decide which one you would want to, what currency you would like to use. For me personally, I try to move as fast as I can. I try to get to where I want to get to as fast as I possibly can. So I'm willing to invest time, energy, effort, resources to get to where I want to be. Now I'm not perfect with this. I could ask for help more and I could make more investments and those sort of things, but I do like to think I try to make investments into speeding up that time because not only does that affect me, but it also affects all of our clients. It affects all of our members. It affects all of my employees. It affects my family. It affects my dream. Like, it affects everything. So that's the risk. That's the cost. Is if you want to just in that time you spend, it's not going to be very fun. Like, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to be frustrated. Your lack of progress. You're going to have plateaus. You're going to see no progress until you problem solve on your own and figure it out and try the next thing. And that doesn't work either. And you figure it out on your own. So it's just a matter of like, which one do you want to pay with? That's all. And I'm not emotional about it. Like, whichever one you want, but I just try to be very logical, black and white. Those are the two options that you have.
Okay, so I guess I don't want to sound dismissive in the sense of I understand that it is a large investment for someone that is wanting to sign up for coaching or whatever it is, something that will get them closer to the goal. But I would say that before being so closed off, because sometimes it can come across as just an excuse, is trying to be more, I think, solution oriented or open minded. And okay, maybe it doesn't feel like I can afford it now, but how can I afford it? Are there things that I'm spending money on that I can maybe stop spending money on? Is there something that I can do that maybe is not quite what I need, but maybe like some sort of step? Can I work extra so that I can get more money for this? So like being more, I think, solution oriented in order to be able to accomplish that. But I do understand that for some people, genuinely, it could just be a lack of resources. But that shouldn't be the complete stop. And that's the other thing I was gonna say is I feel like the other risk that people have is just not ever accomplishing that goal that they have. They never get help or they refuse to get help. I'm sure you've seen
Yeah.
a lot. I can't imagine how many people you've jumped on calls and said, like, this is expensive or I can't afford this.
Nothing in life is too expensive. It's just not valuable enough. So if I came to you and I was like, "Hey, Soph, I will sell you my Lamborghini for 10 grand." If you didn't have 10 grand, would you find a fucking way to get 10 grand?
I mean, if I really wanted the car, yes.
Well, yes, knowing the car is worth much more than 10 grand, right? Like that's
Oh,
the point.
for
Like
sure.
if somebody came to you and was like, "Hey, you can get this $1 million thing for $10,000 and you were fucking broke. No money. You'd go find a way to fucking somehow get $10,000 to go get that $1 million thing because you'd make $990,000.
Right.
It's
Mhm,
very
mhm.
valuable. So you
Right.
would find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
So nothing is ever too expensive and or nothing's ever too much time, too much effort, too much planning. It's all about, do you actually see the value of what is going to come from you inputting that investment, whether it be money, whether it be time, whether it be resources, whether it be energy, mental effort. Every single thing we do, if we believe we are going to get more than what we put in as a return on our investment, we're going to do it every single time. But
Mhm.
a lot of people don't truly conceptualize and visualize the value that it would bring to them to have somebody in their life who is solely dedicated on reaching their goals. Like, would it be worth it to you to not have to hide from pictures anymore? Would it be worth it to you? One of our clients, Danielle, she just posted in the Facebook group. I saw this. She wore a bikini for the first time in her life this
Yeah.
summer on a vacation, and she felt great. Is that worth it to you? Is it worth it to you to add an extra 10 to 15 years to your life to see your kids and grandkids more by lowering your body fat percentage, increasing your strength and lean muscle mass? Is it worth it to you? Like, you ask yourself these questions. Like, again, nobody asks themselves these questions because we're all just fucking scrolling TikTok all day. But when you truly take a step back and look at, if I do this and I'll get this back, is it worth it? I mean, it's a fucking steal. What do you mean, is it worth it? Of course it's going to be worth it. Now, the next question would be, do you believe it's going to work for you?
Right.
And that's where
People get stuck.
maybe they get stuck, or maybe they join somebody who's coached over 25,000 people and who has all these client testimonials on the podcast and who's done this for over 10 years and who fucking comes in this podcast and I just say my shit, how I am, who I am, no BS. Maybe they're like, fuck, I know if I do it, it's gonna, if I do it, it's gonna work. And so
Yeah.
then it's like, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, let's talk about that because I do think that this is a common thing where people want to do it, but they just don't believe it's going to happen. I think there's two parts of that question. It's just one, breaking through that belief, but also obviously you have to make sure that you do sign up with the right person. And even outside of fitness, we've talked about that before. That is also a risk if you sign up for a person that doesn't have the experience or can actually do what it is that you need, then you're kind of continue to be in this pattern or continue to be stuck in the cycle of not actually accomplishing it if you're not even working with the right person. Which obviously we're talking about fitness. You're here. You obviously trust us. You trust Eric. But even outside of that, right? Like having the right person assisting you, I feel like it's important. But what do you say to that and then to people that are scared that they're not going to be able to accomplish it even when they do sign up for accountability?
What was your first boyfriend's name ever?
Marcel was my first boyfriend.
Is it?
Yeah.
First person you talked to, for first person you talk, I don't know, just
Oh,
have you talked to anybody ever in your
yes,
life?
I
I
have. We have to talk.
okay.
My for Do you want me to say the name? Victor.
Sure. Okay,
God, this is
Victor.
so awkward.
Stick with me.
Wait, can I tell you a story? Actually, I was watching the World Cup game the other day and I saw this man on the game. Like he showed up like in I know
No way. That's OD.
so that is so
Wow.
funny that like it's been brought up.
That's funny. Wow. Also, I'm sorry myself about Uruguay. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, oh,
Um,
do not bring that up.
I know. Yeah. Okay, Victor. When
Victor.
you and Victor didn't work out, were you like, love isn't for me? I'm never gonna date again. I'm never
Oh,
gonna
no.
try ever again. I'm never gonna talk to a guy ever again.
No.
Maybe for a period of time, maybe you were, but like, no, right? Like, no. And
Yeah.
that's for most people, the first person they talk to in middle school, high school, college, whatever. If it didn't work out, you weren't like, oh, this isn't for me. I'm never going to try again. And it's the same thing with reaching your goals, man. Like, do you know how many people, somebody just signed up this past, Saturday, Sunday? No, actually, it was literally yesterday. What the fuck I'm tripping. His name is, Aloe. He's from,
Hello.
Oakland. And, he just signed up and he was like, I'll be honest, man, like I've been wanting to sign up with you guys, but like I signed up with somebody last year. They
Over.
completely fucking screwed me. Like paid all this money, didn't get any check-ins, they never fucking responded to my emails. It took a week or two to hear back from them. And he's like, I just been kind of like, yeah, I don't want to do it because I got screwed last time. But then like, eventually he's been following my shit and he's seeing the emails and seeing the content and he's like, fuck it. Like I trust you, man. Like I'm going to give it a shot. And so that's what I would tell people. It doesn't have to be I was gonna say it doesn't have to be right the first time. If you sign up with us, it's gonna be right the first time. I mean, it just is what it is. But even if you've tried other things before, you might not be perfect the first time, but you will get closer because even if it goes shitty, you're gonna figure out what doesn't work. You're gonna figure out what you don't like. And every time you do that, that gets you a step closer to what is going to work. The example I use on this is when I was dealing with a lot of my hip and back pain, I was trying everything. It's funny because like now we're talking about mobility and stuff in our programs, but
Yeah.
I would do an hour of mobility
Oof.
7 days a week before my lifts
Yeah.
every day. And then I would do like 30 to 60 minutes of core work after my workout because I was like, I gotta fucking get better. And like, I would try all these things and I wasn't getting better. And I was like, I just kept telling myself, I was like, well, I gotta be getting closer to finding out what does work. I gotta be getting closer to find out because all of these things I'm knocking off the list. It's not core stability. It's not this. It's not that. It's not this. I gotta be getting closer to finding out what it is. And like, eventually I did. So that's what I would tell people.
Yeah, dude. And I think also like I think accountability can work in a lot of different ways. Like it is kind of what you just said, figuring out what works, what doesn't, with someone. Actually, I was gonna talk about this in the beginning of the podcast, and then you distracted me with your question about ideal life. But so Marcelo and I started a challenge. Actually, I'm gonna share so that maybe someone wants to do it with someone else. But we're doing it on like a point system. So we're doing like a 30-day challenge. It's based on steps, workouts, calories tracked, and then we're gonna do percentage weight loss compared to whatever you started off of. And it's like a point system thing. But my point of saying that it was kind of even though I already do coaching, it's another fun way for me to kind of incorporate some sort of competition. And I'm a very competitive person. So it's just a fun way of incorporating something that if I didn't want to work with someone else, like I wouldn't be willing to do, right? So even I think about people that are inside the clubhouse, like you could have a coach and then you could also find or figure out ways to make it fun for you where you can incorporate accountability. It doesn't have to look like just working with a coach only, right? It could be a lot of different things. So I know people in the clubhouse have that resource of, being able to talk to other people. I know not everyone's partner would want to do that with them, but you could also do it with a friend or maybe even with your own coach. So I think I wanted to share. So check in 30 days because I'm planning to win. So
I'll make sure to ask. That's actually perfect. It's the beginning of next month, so we'll check back around.
yeah. I will be winning for sure. But it's so funny. We're so extra. Like we were like arguing about like how the system would work because he's like, let's do bonus points. I'm like, no. It's anyways.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Usually when people try to do it on their own, what is and you would know because you've talked to so many people that have come from that. What is the number one or common mistake that you see with the way that they're programming things?
Say with their actual program, it's number one, they don't really have a program. They have oh, I know to eat more protein and I know to eat healthy, but they don't have a specific meal routine. They don't have a specific workout routine. They don't have how many reps, how many sets, how many exercises per workout, per muscle group. It's just kind of like general, which is better than nothing.
Yep.
But to see the results that most people want to see, you're going to need to get more specific and detailed and dialed in, which is like one of the main things we help people do. So that's first. Second would be with the program, going back to what we said earlier, it's not realistic. It's not going to work on their worst days. It only is going to work on their best, perfect days. And that's all that people plan for because they also think, I'm not going to have a not perfect day. I'm going to be dialed in. I'm going to be on track with everything here. And so they don't plan for it. But you have to be realistic about what life is going to throw at you. Somebody just signed up today and I was texting back and forth with her and she was kind of like, well, it's like 4th of July weekend. Like I'm going to start Monday. I'm like, no, no, no,
Oh, no.
no, no, no. That's not what we're doing. And
I
I
feel
went
like that's
very
valid though. Like start Monday and
not
this
valid,
no
not
valid.
valid. It's
Okay.
fucking Wednesday. No, that's not valid at all. Um, so no, I had to talk through
It's
like,
not
hey,
valid.
like, what's gonna happen? Like, do you have any summer vacations coming up? Yeah. Okay. Well, you're just gonna not do anything then too. And then like, what about the holidays? Are you gonna travel? Yeah. Okay. Well, what the fuck happens that like you're not gonna be perfect, but you have to understand how to still make goals and routines and habits a priority when things aren't perfect. And it's not to say you're going to be perfect on the 4th of July weekend. Fine. But what can we do? What will we do? How are we going to still keep this top of mind? So I had to run through that. So that would be number two. And then number three would be not tracking other forms of progress other than the scale. Not tracking measurements, not tracking pictures, not tracking strength, not tracking HRV trends or resting heart rate trends or VO2 max or sleep recovery, not tracking other things. You have to track all those things, but you should be tracking something other than just a fucking scale. Otherwise, you're going to feel like this isn't going fast enough. It's not working for you. And you're going to feel like shit and you're going to quit.
Dude, and I feel like also probably some people are doing too much, right? Like where they're because I know you've talked about that, where they're overtraining or they're cutting their calories way too low. Um, does that
It's a
happen
back
more
and
often or
well, it's a back and forth. So like they'll train too much and then they won't fucking train at all. And then they'll cut their calories too much and then they'll go off track for a week. It's
yeah.
just, yeah, it's just the accordion, right? It's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Most people can't just be in the middle of things because they think they're not going to see progress there for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they think they're not going to see progress if it's just like just okay. I used to say all the time like good enough is good enough. Like, it's okay to not be perfect and just be good enough some days because that means you're actually still doing something which will always and forever, for the eternity of time, be better than you doing nothing.
Cool. Last question. Two things actually. This is a twofold question. For someone that's been trying to figure it out alone for a very long time, maybe a year, more than a year, what would you say to them right now? And also, what would you say is the first change or the first couple of changes that they will see once they finally get real accountability?
The first thing I would say is just picture another year from now if you kept doing what you've been doing. Because you will keep getting the same results. Unless you do something different, you will keep getting the same results. And so that would be the first thing. Just what is your life going to look like a year from now if you keep trying on your own? And again, not just with fitness. I don't want to make it seem like we're just talking about sign up for coaching. Yeah, sure. Click the fucking link, sign up for coaching. But like with your finances, with your dream life that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast. If you just keep doing the same things, you're going to keep getting the same results. And so you have to do something different. So that would be number one. And then I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
What are some of the initial
Changes.
changes that you would say will happen for them when they do have accountability?
You will find that it's much easier than you think it currently is. it will seem easier. It won't actually be easier, but it will seem easier because now you have the answers to the test. It's like going to take a test when you have the answer key, which I would always like to do if I could get my hands on that in school. It's just going to be easier for you, man. Like it's not going to be as frustrating. You know what? I had a perfect example. Let me pull this up.
It's thundering out there.
Okay. We had a Clubhouse member who wanted to upgrade to one-on-one coaching, and I
Mhm.
reached out to her and I was just, hey, Nicole, like, I heard you want to, maybe sign up. Da-da. Here's her message. Yes, I'm thinking about doing the 8-week challenge because I have a hard time staying consistent. Then I get upset with myself and quit just to start back up and do it all over again. It's miserable. I can't keep doing this to myself. And I texted her back and I said, honestly, like I was even starting to like semi tear up right there because like you don't have to live your life that way, man. Like it doesn't have to be that bad. It doesn't have to be that miserable. It doesn't have to be that hard, that like mentally and emotionally draining.
Yeah.
And I know so many people are in that exact same spot that Nicole was in, which is like they just feel defeated. They feel like it's never going to happen for them. They feel like they're putting in all of this effort and they're not anywhere closer to where they want to be. And like they just feel like shit in general and about themselves. And I'm just over here like, we have a solution. Like it doesn't have to be this way. We can help you, I promise. So you're going to stop feeling like that. You're going to start feeling like you can actually do this. You're going to see physical changes. You're going to see progress. You're going to have light bulb moments where, oh, fuck, that's why I wasn't losing weight. Oh, like, yeah, I thought I was eating healthy, but God, I didn't know I was eating 4,000 calories on the weekends. Jesus, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that fucking bad. You're going to have moments of, fuck, those progress pictures. I was avoiding taking progress pictures, so I don't want to see that. But then you take it and you get your shit together and then you see the next set of progress pictures and you see yourself making progress. And now you're like, oh shit, okay, I'm seeing myself go in the right direction here. So it's going to be, if you get the right program and you
Right.
get the right person and the right people supporting you, whether it's fitness or whether you want to improve and get better at your job or whether you want to be a better parent and you go to whatever it is, therapy or counseling, or I don't know what parents do to get better. I have no clue, but whatever it is, man, like, it's just not going to be as fucking hard. And like I said, it doesn't have to be that fucking difficult.
And it feels like a legit first step towards whatever it is that you want to do. Like it feels like a big commitment, which I feel like also would feel good for whoever signs up for whatever it is. It feels like a stepping stone into something. Like it feels more real. Like I know you talked about that in the
Yeah.
podcast, but it's a real step and real sign that you're making a change is if you're willing to invest your resources.
Every person who signs up for coaching, I tell them this, and I really do mean it because I say, I'm really proud of you for doing this. And they're
Right.
always like, what do you mean? And I'm like, most people will never take this step forward. They'll put it in the back of their head. They'll try not to think about it. They'll know they should do it, but never take any action because they're scared, because they don't want to fail, because of many reasons. But like, I always tell people, kudos to you for taking this next step forward, because like, that's the only way you're going to get closer to where you want to be. And most people just won't do it. So yeah. And again, for people listening, don't ever fucking sign up for coaching. I don't care. My whole point to you is, stop doing the same shit you've been doing and expecting a different result, man. You have to do something different. You have to invest. You have to commit. You have to spend more time, energy, resources, mental effort, time researching. I don't know, whatever it is, but like, you got to do something. If you're not happy with where you're at, you have to do something different. So that's what I'd say.
Well, that is all the questions I had for you today. Any other questions? Or sorry, any other tips, comments you would like to share on today's podcast?
No, I just think that accountability is a good thing. I would challenge people to, and also it doesn't have to be just short-term accountability. Like, people will think, why should I need accountability? I've been doing this for X amount of time. Do you shower every day? Do you brush your fucking teeth every day? Like, just because you do it for 30 years of your life, I'm 30. So I mean, I've showered and brushed my teeth every day for 30 years. I don't have to do it anymore. No, man. Like you need some things in your life to keep you healthy, to keep you hydrated, to keep you on track. Like you've eaten every single day for 30 years. You just don't fucking eat anymore. Like it's not a bad thing to need and or want accountability to keep you on track with what your goals should want to be.
Wait, I have a question. Have you ever felt the need to have a fitness coach yourself or not really? I know in the past you've like even with me or Jenna, you would create the text messages or sometimes in Slack, you'll be like, hey guys, keep me accountable for whatever. So I know you do that, but have you ever felt the need that you need someone coach you or not really? I know you do and like you do invest in other things, right? Like business stuff and things like that.
Hmm. I don't
Just
want to sound like no, I don't I'm trying to figure out how to correctly word this because I view for me personally, because of my life, I view accountability a tad bit different where
right.
it's not like I need a coach to hold me accountable, but every single day I wake up, I'm like, I'm responsible for all of these people to put food on their fucking table every single day. And I'm responsible for these thousands of clients to get results. And I'm responsible to keep this business moving forward so people can have a career they love. I don't need more accountability. Like,
Yeah.
that's all the accountability I need. So, like, I
Yeah.
yes, I have one would argue that is much more accountability than like having a coach, whatever it be.
Yeah.
But like I need not only do I need it, I welcome that accountability because I know the stress and consequences and pressure that comes along with that is going to make me perform the best that I
Yeah.
possibly can. So yeah, like that's how personally for me I view the accountability. And I talked about this on a recent podcast I talked about like mental health on a podcast recently, but I take that I can't put into words how serious I take like I take like I don't know what to say because I just can't put into words of how serious I take that. Like, so yeah, dude. Like, yes, there's a high level of accountability in my life.
Yeah.
One would argue the highest level of
Yeah.
accountability.
Agreed. Cool, dude. Well, that is it for today, I guess.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope to help you reframe some things in your brain. And as always, if you are interested in just saying fuck it and taking the next step forward, click the link in the show notes of the podcast. As you hear this, we're going to 4th of July weekend, but we're halfway through 2026. So if you started this year and you were like, I want to get in shape and you are not in shape and you're maybe worse or you still haven't been consistent, like I said earlier in the podcast, don't waste another 6 months. Lord willing, if you are blessed enough, you're going to be here for the next 6 months. Don't waste it again. And then have 2026 be another failed year of dieting, another failed year of I should have joined the gym and been super consistent. So we'd love to help you in your half New Year's resolution. So click the link in the show notes of the podcast and we will chat next week.